Right guys, I'm just out riding and today I'm going to try and show you a tutorial on how to wheel a pit bike.
Warning, please note I'm not a wheelie expert, but I do know how to wheelie a pit bike kind of half decent. I thought this would be a good time to give a tutorial because I still understand the issues of trying to learn as wheelies are still not second nature to me. Peace and love, thank you. Let's get right into the wheelies.
Okay, start the pit bike, step number 1. Also, thank you very much for over 1,000 subscribers. I'm going to try to do something half special, but it came around really quickly. I didn't expect it to be so soon. And I've got exams at the minute, so I'm kind of busy. But I'll try my best. This is a CRF 50 size pit bike. Though all these skills are transferable to most bikes really, but they're pit bike specific. 110cc engine, but the first one's just rolling in first gear. That was a bit shit. Basically all the power is like to get the front wheel up, all you do is first gear and throttle. The second one is gonna be clutch it in second, give it some revs, woo, and do it that way. I fucking nearly looped it. But keep your foot on the back brake. I find second gear ones with clutch the easiest to keep up. And then the third one really this is the easiest, I think. It's pretty good for learning the balance point and everything. First gear, clutching up with your feet dragging on the floor behind you. Now it looks a bit stupid and you're not going to get much pussy like this, but it's quite funny. Oh, I just fucking sacked my balls. But yeah, they're the main three ones. Just first gear power, second gear wheelie, and second gear foot down, or first gear foot down, whatever really. The problem with the foot down is you don't have the back brake, because I don't have a handbrake. But it's pretty hard to loop it considering your feet are like on the ground, and if you do loop it, you'll be alright probably. Make sure you're wearing gear. So the first thing is like just getting the front wheel up. In first gear it's quite easy to just yank up the front wheel and end up going like sideways, getting carried away, and just like the start of your wheelie will be really wonky. And if it's wonky, then you can't. It's hard to retrieve it from that point. So start giving it throttle, push down, and then as you get to near full throttle, you start leaning back, and that means you don't have to tug it as much because the suspension compression will sort of push it back up. Yeah, like that. My whole body weight was shifted wrong because I tugged it too hard. Oi, oi. That's what she said. But yeah, like I find if I tug it too hard, my whole body position's wrong. It should be quite like a fluid movement. But it's really good for learning how to get the front wheel up. So just throttle, push in, and then come back out with your arms. So just down, start revving the bike as you go down, and then as you pull up, really just give it that last little jolt of throttle. Just keep bringing the front wheel up and pushing it back down with the back brake, like that. Just really like keep going up and down with the front and back, with the throttle and then the back brake. So it's in your muscular memory. For ages, I still do it sometimes. My leg will kick out as like a reaction to going over too far, and that's not really going to help you as much as pressing on the bloody back brake. There we go. Just brings you straight back down. So every wheelie tutorial says it, but just keep bloody pressing that back brake until you get used to it. Second's the clutch up. The good thing about first gear is you don't have to worry about the clutch. You can just worry about how it feels to get the front wheel up, because it will be a while until you really get used to it. Because initially you'll bring it up like this far and you'll be like, shit, whoa. Like you think you're going to tip off, and slowly over time with just the throttle get used to bringing it up further and further and then pushing the back brake down. And then get onto the clutch. Once you've got that down, you don't have to think about it as much, and you can start thinking about the clutch. So it depends how big your bike is and how powerful it is, and if it's even got a clutch. If it hasn't, you can still power wheelie. That was me power wheeling in second. But I find it a bit more sketchy personally. I normally use 2 fingers so I can let it out quicker, but And I've still got enough of a grip. If I let out with 2 fingers, I've still got 2 or 3 fingers gripping it. But if you use your whole hand, you let go, then you haven't got as much grip on the bars. Pull it in with 2 fingers. Oi, oi. Cheeky. You want to be going fast enough that you can hear the power band start hitting. If you're just crawling along in second and you try and clutch it up, it won't have anywhere near as much power as if you're going just slightly faster, and you can hear it. If you're just going along in second, you can start to start to hear the bike actually putting some effort in rather than more just like rolling with a bit of throttle. When it feels like the bike's starting to bite, then just pull in the throttle. Pull in the throttle, give it some gas, and then just let go of it all in one. It's going to feel scary as shit to start with. Just let it bring it up like little amounts even, and then slowly get it higher and higher, still using that back brake. And I like to sit quite far back on the pit bike, like my bum's on the plastic. All right, let's give it a go. I wasn't quite high enough for balance point, but that's the idea of getting the front wheel up. You'll have to give it like pretty much no throttle to keep the front wheel from falling down. The balance point on these pit bikes is smaller because of the back wheel size and stuff. But if you lean back and extend your arms, I feel like it's easier to stay at balance point. I can't help much more than that when it comes to balance point. It's about just having practice. But you've got to really lean back. It will help the balance point so much more. And then finally, this one's a bit more of a joke than anything. This is a really good one to build up some confidence. Once you start to get the front wheel up, this will help you learn what it's like just to continuously wheelie. Sit quite far back, give it some revs. I'm in first gear, and just dump the clutch. And the bike will come up quite easily. Especially in first gear with clutch, it will come up with like little effort. So just go really slow. Your feet just really like straddle back. It is a bit weird. Yeah, and not so good for picking up the ladies. But just give it some revs. And once it's up there, like it's basically completely upright. But you have no back brake, so you've got to be so careful. Though you're going quite slow, and your feet are on the floor anyway. I hope there's been something of somewhat use. These were so funny. I nearly looped it, but you can just push if you push off with your feet, it will push the bike back forward. Recommended to have a handbrake, but and you can do it in second as well. There's a little jump in the middle there. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Make sure you've got gear, because if you fall off with gear, you're just going to get back up and practice. Make sure your bike's got protection. If you fall off, you can just get back up and go again. But if your bike will probably be alright, but you'll be fucked if you loop it with no gear. Especially no helmet, it's just not worth it. Either way, I hope it's been somewhat of a useful video. It's been pretty fun to make, just pissing around up here. And be sure to subscribe. Thank you so much for over 1,000 subscribers. And I'll see you next time. Ta-da!